This is Andy Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Kevin Lerena over Zoom. Kevin, it's good to see you, good to speak to you. How are you? How's life been treating you before we come on to that good stuff?
No, very good, bro. Obviously, very good. We got a victory 4 weeks ago here in South Africa. I defended the WBC Bridgeweight, and that obviously opened up opportunities for where we are now. All roads lead to Wembley. I'm just grateful to Queensbury, Spencer Brown, Goldstar for the opportunity.
All roads lead to Wembley, as you mentioned, and Lawrence Okolie, the next man you're sharing a ring with. How quickly did this opportunity come about, Kevin?
I was approached by Spence, my manager. Would I like the fight? I think he mentioned it to me last week. I said, yes, let's do it. And contracts were pretty much done within a week. So massive thanks to Spencer Brown and George Warren, Frank Warren from Queensbury. It was really easy sailing and an easy process to get the fight done. And also thanks to Lawrence Okolie for the opportunity, because a lot of the heavyweights on the roster kind of avoid me and he hasn't. So yeah, respect, and we're going to get it on the 19th of July.
Why do you feel like that is? That maybe you've had to wait a little bit longer for that opportunity because you've shown that you're willing to fight anybody. You've had some tough fights in your career, but for whatever reason, since say that Justis Huni fight, that those opportunities haven't quite been as present.
Yes. You know what? I think I let fights slip through my hands, but we got to right the wrong. We can't change what's happened in the past. Daniel Dubois, the fight kind of was going my way, then it went his way. But I'm very proud to see how far Daniel has gone since he fought me. Obviously he lost to Usyk, but he's turned his career around, and it just shows you boxing's not scripted. Anything can happen. And obviously my fight with Huni. My mom died the day before the fight, but I have no excuses. I chose to fight and I went into the fight as a brave man, but I'm only human. And I believe the fight was a lot closer than 96, 94. I had it at best a draw for Huni for between the pair of us, but the judges saw it differently. But it just shows that I know the level I'm at. Justis Huni's a terrific boxer, and we saw what he did against Fabio Wardley until Fabio caught him. So I just know where I'm at. There was not much in it between me and Justice, and yeah, listen, man. My fights speak for themselves. I don't need to hype myself up. I know what I'm about, and I'm just looking forward to the opportunity.
Talk to me about this fight with Lawrence then, Kevin. He's only had one bout, I believe, up at heavyweight, but you can't really read too much into that showing. What do you make of him? He's been known as being a very awkward fighter, somebody who's got not the easiest on the ice style. So what's the key for you when you fight Lawrence?
Yeah, he is awkward. I mean, it's no secret he's awkward, but you gotta make him not awkward. You gotta do what suits you in there. A good cruiserweight. He won the world title, and then obviously he lost to Billam Smith. I think he was cutting a lot of weight, so you can't look into that loss at all. He went up to Bridgeweight, did what he had to do, as I did, and then he's had one fight at heavyweight, if I'm not mistaken. He did what he needed to do against the quality of opponent that was put in front of him. Who's got more experience at heavyweight? Definitely me, having fought Daniel Dubois, Marius Vach, Bogdan Dinu, Justis Huni, but Lawrence has got a good amateur pedigree. So yeah, I'm not looking into it in the sense of I'm going to carry the experience flag. He's going to carry the home country flag. No, it's a great fight. We're both competitors. He knows that, and I know that. There's no secret. This is nothing personal between Lawrence and I. Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry, where did I cut out?
You said that it was nothing personal between you and Lawrence.
Yeah, it's nothing personal between me and Lawrence. He's a tough competitor. He knows how good I am, and I know how good he is. So credit to Spencer, Queensbury, George Warren for making such a fight, and to Team Okolie, because at the end of the day, you want to put on fights where it's always 50-50, and I truly believe this is that one, and it's up to me to rewrite the script.
You mentioned earlier on in your answer, you've got to try and ensure that you make it your fight, you make it how you want it to go. So how do you do that against Lawrence?
He's a very good boxer. He's a long rangy guy, right? So he's going to throw a lot of backhands, a lot of long right hands, and he's got to work behind his jab. But I have the knack of taking the jab away. I got the knack of making them miss and making them pay. A chess match, as per se, I'm by no means a technical southpaw, awkward, boring southpaw. I come to fight, but I think I need to be calculated in my approach with Lawrence. I need to come to fight, but come to fight with precision and no mistakes. There's no room for error in there, and there's definitely no room for mistakes against Lawrence Okolie.
Kevin, you had Daniel Dubois hurt, you've had Justis Huni hurt, and on those occasions you couldn't quite get those fights over the line, get those fights finished. Do you feel like if you hurt Lawrence to the degree that we saw Daniel Dubois and Justis Huni, it's on your mind to make sure this time around you can finish it, you take it out of the judge's hands, with what we saw with Justice?
Yeah. Look, I think with Justice in round 10, when I caught him on the chin, I was so spent. Had I had that extra 5% of power, probably would have put him out, but I was really tired, to be honest. With Daniel, he was down 3 times. Probably the fight could have been called off, but it didn't. Um, Listen, we're not there to reflect on the past. It's done. We've all moved on from there. Daniel's moved on. I've moved on. Justice has moved on. We need to focus on the now. My last fight, I had the man hurt. I finished him. But we also got to be realistic. The last guy I fought's not the caliber of Lawrence Okolie, Justis Huni, or Daniel Dubois. Yes, I need to finish them. I know I can hurt them. Uh, they all know I got explosive hands and I got power in my punches. But when I have them hurt, I got to finish them. And I think there's a calculated way to do that. Sometimes you throwing the kitchen sink at it, going balls to the walls, not the answer. It's about picking your shots and not necessarily taking your time, having that killer instinct, but picking the right shots. You can throw 25, flurry of 25 punches. If only two land, it's meaningless. So you got to be calculated. And that's what I'm looking to do this fight, should I get that opportunity.
As an away fighter, Kevin, I tend to ask this to those fighters. If we do see the scorecards needed, is it on your mind going into this fight as the away fighter in case they don't read favourably and you feel like you've done enough to have your hand raised?
Look, man, it's hard to say. I think my Saudi Arabia fight with Justice, neither of us was a home fighter, and I thought the judges had it a little bit wrong. I thought 96-94 maybe, but I had it as a draw. The one judge had it 98-91. I don't know what fight he was watching. Um, Look, it's always going to be on the back of your mind, but with the WBC involved, I think the WBC officials, I'm pretty sure there's grounds of being neutral. So should it go the distance, it's up to me to win every round. If you win every round and you have a complete shutout and it still doesn't go your way, the boxing world will talk out. The boxing world, so you can't really escape a bad decision. The judges can't, and neither can a fighter that's on the receiving end or on the granted end. So I think you can never escape a bad decision, but it's up to the fighter to make sure. I have to make sure. It's not about leaving it in the judges' hands. We all want to win by knockout, all of us. This is what boxing is about. We all want to put on the best explosive performances, but if it does go the distance, you want to ensure that you've left no questions.
Kevin, a couple of fights I want to get your thoughts on. You mentioned and you spoke previously about that Fabio Wardley victory against Justis Huni. What did you make of that fight up until the point of Fabio finding that shot which ended it?
Yeah, Justice. It was a great fight. I mean, great for Justice, great for Fabio. Fabio was obviously on the receiving end of a boxing lesson. Justice came in with a good pedigree, but Fabio, and credit to him and his coach, I think he's got a terrific trainer. And they were working on that right hand in the sense of that Justice does fall in. He does get a little bit complacent as the fight goes on. And it only takes one punch to turn a fight around. And Fabio showed that. And there was an example to that. Having said that, gutted for Justis Huni because did he deserve the victory? He never got it, but he probably did. In hindsight, it's always 2020. Going into the 10th, probably could have got on his bicycle box and ran away to a victory. But we fighters, when you're in there, you want to give it your all. We're warriors. So credit to Fabio Wardley. He weathered a storm. There was moments in that fight where I thought he was in a bit of trouble, but he weathered the storm and he landed the one that counted the most. So heavyweight boxing, unpredictable, no script.
Kevin, I've spent a lot of time around boxers and people and fighters with your mentality. You certainly come across as somebody who you want your get back. So let's say you beat Lawrence Okolie, and given Justice's value is still risen despite that defeat, is a rematch something which you feel like could be feasible if you beat Okolie and on the back of Huni's defeat?
Most definitely. I think the heavyweight landscape's forever changing and forever moving. If you look at the top 15, we're all kind of there. I think the heavyweight division's continuously evolving and moving, a lot of shuffling within the rankings. So the fight's always going to be there for me and Justice, most definitely. I think the first one was so good the second would be even better. So, but he's also obviously come off a loss. He's got to go back home, spend some time with his family, and get back to winning ways. And I've got to focus on Lawrence. But it's definitely a fight that could definitely happen. Yes.
My last one for you, Kevin. Obviously, Daniel Dubois, your past opponent versus Alexander Usyk, somebody who helped Tyson prepare for when he fought him. What do you make of Dubois Usyk too?
Look, the first fight, I think, was it a low blow? My answer is no. Was it a legal blow? My answer is also no. So it definitely hurt Alexander. Daniel can punch. He's a terrific, fierce puncher. I think he's also, people underestimate his boxing ability. He's got IQ and he's got a terrific jab. And I think since he's changed trainers, we've seen not to say Shane McQueen is not a good trainer because I rate him highly, but I think sometimes a change is good for anybody. And Daniel's really come on with confidence. So I'm excited to see the outcome of the second fight. Having said that, Alexander Usyk's a mastermind. He's probably technically one of the soundest boxers of our era in terms of technical skill set, being the smaller man. But takes one punch to turn a fight around, and we've seen Usyk been hurt before. We're all human, we're all mere mortals. So how it's going to go, I don't know. I'm not one to predict. It's not my fight. That's up to them to predict between the both of them. And yeah, may the best man win.
Kevin, it's a pleasure to catch up with you. Enjoy the rest of camp, and I'll see you over here ahead of your fight with Lawrence Okolie on July 19th.
Cheers, brother. Only my pleasure. Take care.